who's standing in the Chiefs' way? You said Texans. Give me another one. Give me who's standing in the Chiefs' way.
Man, the one other team I would just want to throw out because they're not getting a lot of love through the summer. Just watching Josh Allen ball out, and after falling behind against the Cardinals, and everything looks like it's going to hell, and he is one of those dudes. There's probably only 5 of them in the league that you could tell where he's like, okay, I'm changing the situation here. He ends up with 4 touchdowns in that game, 2 on the ground. He jacks up his hand in the process, and you have to worry about that. He is going to have to do a lot with that offense, but he can. And, you watch the Jets fall on their face in that game. We know what Miami does every December and January, and the Patriots are the Patriots, week 1 notwithstanding. And, the idea of just counting out Buffalo and counting out that man with so much to prove, that was an eye-opener to me on Sunday.
And then you've got the Cowboys here. And if I'm just saying, if the Chiefs had done to the Browns what the Cowboys did to the Browns, if the Lions had done to the Browns, if the Niners had done to the Browns what the Cowboys just did to the Browns, just trying to show you some false equivalencies, unless they're true equivalencies. A lot of us in our media world would be like, they're winning the Super Bowl. The Cowboys do it, and it's just like, okay, we'll see in January, and I'm just wondering again, because what they did, their stat sheet didn't light up. But what lit up was everything else. The only stat sheet that really lit up was Brandon Aubrey's stat sheet, and it could have been lit up with a 70-yarder, which I thought they still were going to go to. I've never seen one attempted. I've seen many attempted on the elf. I've never seen anything tempted on the left side of the elf before.
Pretty cool.
Beyond the elf, which is another, maybe Underdog can have a podcast called that.
I'll write that one down.
But that's the way I came on, gave them their flowers. That's what I handled this way. Gave them their flowers, and then the other headline is whatever. I mean, that's really the way you got to look at it.
Well, I love that because, last year, the way they destroyed the Giants early on in the season, right? And that was every aspect of their team dominating. And that's what I thought with Cleveland was like special teams, defense. Their offense wasn't explosive, but they did everything they needed to do. Coaching, it looked like they've got it all together.
He called a great game, McCarthy.
He really did. And I think it was kind of like, wait a minute. After we spoke about the Cowboys all offseason in a certain way, they went and just dominated. But last season is proof of but I can't trust that until it occurs in the new year. I need it to happen in January, and I'm okay not trusting them until they prove me wrong. I think also they played a team that looked disorganized and disheveled and completely lost with no plans. So
I felt for Siciliano, who this is his dream job, calling Browns games, right?
Tuffy, yeah.
And that's his first one. He deserves better. You deserve better. You sound like the kid who sent the letter to Belichick right now. That's what you sound like.
I was that kid.
I know you were.
Yeah.
I'm not a kid with Bill anymore. Now. He's a colleague, so maybe we could get that squared away on Heed the Call.
So how old were you when you sent a letter to Belichick?
Well, I was actually, it's a weird story, but I went to Miami of Ohio and took a class called football coaching. I was not 38. I was 17. But you had to find a coach to write to, and a lot of people were just writing their old high school coach, and I was like, I'm going to write Bill Belichick and see what happens. Probably never hear back. And then,
at the time, current head coach of the Cleveland Browns.
Absolutely. And I actually went to Miami of Ohio because I wanted to work for the Browns. So I was like, I'm going to just simply go to Ohio. That made a lot of sense. Transferred a year later. Nothing happened. But Belichick wrote back a month later. I always thought it was probably his secretary, but who was Nick Saban's secretary at Alabama for years later. And she confirmed that it was actually Bill after I wrote that story. So.
At a typewriter? He typed it out himself? Not dictated but not read by Bill Belichick? I have to
imagine it was dictated. The idea of, because it was typewritten, but there were computers then. So it could have come off like a dot matrix printer.
So you still obviously have this
I do have
missive.
I have all these, I have all these
so
letters,
it is entirely possible with him part of the Underdog world.
Right.
That you can actually get him to sign it or have a conversation with you about it, maybe on Heed the Call or something like that?
I think so. It also strikes me that it could come across as slightly creepy, so I'm trying to think about how to approach that.
Should I tell him my story? You got to fight through the creepiness.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
I've
done that multiple times with Donald Arthur Mattingly, one of the greatest human beings ever created. Mine too. Yeah. Okay. Seriously. Yeah. I have done it. I have embarrassed myself in front of him multiple times. And you know what? It embarrasses my loved ones, but I keep going. Don't you worry. I do.
That's a good lesson.
Please keep going. I'm going to fight through the creepiness.
Okay. I've been told that before. So.
by Lauren Tannehill, everybody. Okay, everyone. Hey.
Put Donnie in the hall.
There you go. That's a heavy lift, as much as I hate to admit. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.